Plus que quelques minutes avant notre départ pour la prison d'Alcatraz, voici une maquette réduite de l'île et de sa prison, avec tous les bâtiments, même ceux qui ont été détruits par le feu, qu'on va voir tantôt sur l'île. Alors, voilà. Alors, en attendant de voir la vraie île d'Alcatraz. Hop.
Welcome to Alcatraz Landing, gateway to Alcatraz Island. To ensure you have a safe and enjoyable visit to Alcatraz Island, a unit of the National Park System, here are a few important rules that we ask you to follow while on Alcatraz Island. Some areas of the island are unsafe and closed to the public.
Vous voyez ce building, puis quelques-uns sur l'île, on passe au feu, puis on le laisse comme ça. Ça donne un certain charme. Celui qu'on vient de voir, c'était pour les officiers. Bon, et puis il y a également celui du chef de la prison, qu'on va voir un petit peu plus tard. Il a pas touché aussi. Ils ont rien reconstruit. Ça y est, on va en prison. Non.
Walk, do not run when moving from one place to another.
I'm Pat Mahoney, former Alcatraz correctional officer, and I'll be your guide. I served 7 years on the Rock. These first photos introduce some of my fellow officers.
I am Philip Bergen, Captain of the Guards, United States Penitentiary, Alcatraz, California.
Well, my name is George DeVincenzi. I used to play checkers with Robert Stroud. I don't think I ever beat him.
My name is Ronald Battles. I asked whether they hired blacks out there. You know how it was in the 50s.
Yeah, my name is Leon Whitey Thompson. My number was 1465. I was a man that had total hatred in them days. I hated anything that walked or crawled on this earth. I was a man who was dead inside. You couldn't hurt me no more, see?
I'm John Banner. My Alcatraz number was 1133. I'm a thief, you know. I ended up about number 17 or something like that on the most wanted.
You were a number, you weren't a name. I wasn't Jim Quill, and hell, I was number 586. Everybody wants to be an individual. They want to be a human. And you weren't at the Rock.
My name is Darwin Kuhn, number 1422. Figured I'm never going to get out. Yeah, I'm going to sit right here until I die.
Walk through the cutoff. The Alcatraz cell house opened as a federal prison in 1934. Within these walls lived the country's toughest, most dangerous, and most famous prisoners. As soon as you exit the cutoff, immediately turn right onto the next corridor. It's called Broadway. Broadway was the first stop for arriving prisoners.
We went right down Broadway, you know, in our birthday suits. And all the guys, you know, are howling.
Well, here's a typical Alcatraz cell. Every one of them in the cell house exactly like.
We had a metal tabletop and a little chair there, and that was about it. The cell was pretty barren.
You're gone forever.
5 feet wide, 9 feet long, and 7 feet high. And that's what I call a little box.
No decorations allowed, anything. Couldn't paste anything on the wall.
Waiting on the bed for each new prisoner was a copy of the official rules and regulations.
This is the rules of the cell house. Your cell is subject to search at any time.
Your towel had to be folded up and put on your shelf. Your toothbrush, and they used to give us tooth powder in little green containers.
I guess like a cockroach feels in a matchbox.
You may smoke in your cell, in the library.
We were issued a pack of wings on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. Every inmate, whether he smoked or not.
Sweep your cell and place the trash in the trash
I knew
bin.
every mark, everything in that cell. And pretty soon that cell became like a part of me, or I became a part of the cell. Alcatraz is always classed as the end of the line, the point of no return. It was like going into the ground. You know, when you're buried, you're gone forever.
This is the rules of the cell house. Your cell is subject to search at any time.
Prisoners had a decision to make, whether to obey the rules or not, to do good time or bad time. That decision affected their lives dramatically.
An inmate is given housing, good food, medical attention, and all the necessities of life.
Everything else was a privilege. Prisoners who chose not to behave ended up in a harsher place, isolation. D Block was a prison within Alcatraz, the treatment unit.
This place is going to operate on the basis that you do what you're told, and you're going to get a fair break. If you don't behave yourself, we're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks.
Unruly or violent prisoners were sent here. They stayed in their cells 24 hours a day. Typically, they were only allowed out once a week for a shower and exercise.
Now, in this cell block, we have 42 of the least popular cells in Alcatraz. Although by far they are the best, the roomiest, and the nicest state-of-the-art cells that were available in this prison.
It was cold, it was damp. The wind used to just blow through there. You could hear it. At night you could hear it whistling through the windows.
One of the more infamous prisoners to live here in D Block was convicted killer Robert Stroud, the so-called Birdman.
And almost immediately upon his arrival at Alcatraz, he was relegated to the treatment unit. And he didn't bring his birds along with him, which made him very unhappy.
Alvin Karpus, you gotta watch out for him, former public enemy #1.
Creepy Karpus. When you seen Creepy, you wouldn't have to be told he was creepy because he walked on his toes.
He had Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Nice fella, never give you any troubles at all. Very accommodating, polite.
Mickey Cohen, Frankie Garbo.
And Capone.
Ain't a fool with Capone, see? He was a street fighter. He's a big man. He was in good shape. The only thing, his brain was gone. He had syphilis. Well, eventually it drove him crazy.
When the cell was occupied, the regulations required that the light be on.
Well, we kept the lights off when they were in there. They were in the dark.
Well, when I'd go in the hole, what I used to do was I'd tear a button off my coveralls. I'd flip it up in the air. Then I'd turn around in circles. Then I'd get down on my hands and knees and I'd hunt for that button.
This was the prison library.
You put your request on a library card. If the book was available, they'd bring it, put it in the bars for you.
Prisoners with reading privileges could subscribe to approved magazines.
And if it had some story about some convict out of Nebraska or something, that was cut out. Never mind that you might have been reading a serial and it was on the back of one of them pages.
Prisoners who behaved could also take correspondence courses.
Took a course from the University of Pennsylvania on animal husbandry. The gestation period for a pig is 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days.
3 times a day, all the men in general population gathered here for 20-minute meals. Imagine 200 plus men, each armed with a knife, fork, and spoon. This was potentially the most dangerous room in the cell house.
I think about 3-4 men got killed with kitchenware.
At the end of 3 decades, over 1,500 men had served time on the rock. By then, Alcatraz had served its own time. After years of harsh wind and weather, the buildings were badly deteriorated. The isolated island was too expensive to run. And now in the 1960s, prison reformers preached rehabilitation instead of punishment. Early in 1963, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy ordered Alcatraz closed.